Hey everyone, J-Rod Plays here. Looks like Bungie finally fixed the portal in today's patch notes update. With the changes this week, there's not a whole lot of story. There is some important story, but it's just not like as much as the first week, which is understandable. I guess the first week is the week you got to get into it and build the story up, and this week is just little updates. Although this season so far has been pretty good, even with the small updates, it's kind of still been pretty satisfying. I haven't felt like really robbed each week of story, because then there's plenty of content behind that with some of the secrets and things which to me are very enjoyable, those little secret puzzles. There was 4 new minor arcana, but there was no major arcana this week for me, so if you're having trouble and you're struggling to find the new major arcana, don't worry, they're not available. It's just these second rows. These are kind of the replacement for the major arcana, these more important minor arcana. A lot of these I got from the Savathun Spire. So the empowered rewards, for example, I got that from running my first Savathun Spire of the week as part of the story. The Whispers of Power, I got that as well. The witchcrafting, the extra red border, dropped 2. This one dropped, I believe, maybe after my legend run. One of these 2 dropped out of after our legend run of Savathun Spire. I did that this week as well as part of the Guardian Ranks 10. And I'll have a video going over the legend run. And then there's a new hidden card within the Savathun Spire, which I'll show later in the video. That one dropped a Witch's Boon. That one's going to be using the Witch Key to open Witch's Chest. Gives you red war weapons. The red border weapons was this one here, the Empowered Rewards. Although it's kind of a lie, I did the Legend difficulty after this, and I didn't get any armor. Well, actually, I take it back. I did get the armor, but I didn't get a Deep Sight Resonant Weapon, which was more important to me, getting that additional Deep Sight. So I don't know if it's because I have a good amount of deep sights already unlocked, but it just didn't give it to me. Now going into the store, you're going to come over to the middle here, and you're going to meet Eris by speaking to the little ritual, and she's going to come out in her form that she has assumed whenever she is now in the ritual. Last week she was back in her normal form, which was surprising, and this week she's back into the Hive God form that she has assumed. Once you do that, Eris and Amara are going to send you on a trip to the Savathun Spire. This week it's going to be a little bit different though. There's going to be these areas that are covered in kind of that hive crust that you'll have to uncover, or if you're in a different version, because sometimes you'll get different versions, you'll just see the floating Savathun symbols everywhere. There's going to be, I think, 3 of them, and normally you'd be uncovering these and uncovering Savathun statues if you get the ones that are covered. If you get the uncovered ones, then you're just going to be running around doing your killing until the next section, which should then have some of those uncovered or covered hive runes as well. And so once the section that you're done with takes you through the doors, there is going to be some additional things to look out for. The first is going to be a new chest. As you're getting done with the first encounter here, I'll show you what it looks like. You're going to be going through the areas with the blue and red teleporters. And you'll see here that I'm running up to the red teleporter. Now this is going to take you up to a 3rd floor where you're in an open area with a swinging bell. And I do have a video of this already. If you've already seen the video of the new chest, don't worry about it, you can skip this portion. But once you get through where you can see there's these red runes that are in front of you, and those can be activated by solar weapons. And then behind you, you'll have the arc runes, which will be activated by arc weapons. Now there may be a glitch where you can kill some of these with high power weapons, so just be careful what you're shooting them with. And that was just in the Bungie today, the Bungie known issues today in the TWAB. Once you do the runes, there's going to be a door opening that you can see and hop over to as you're on the way up. It's right under one of the platforms. Go in there and grab the chest, and that's going to give you a triumph for this week. Once you get that done, just continue on. That's going to take you into the second encounter. Once you've completed the second encounter and you have that little symbol popping up, and you go through the very first door, that's going to take you into the room with hive runes and the specific combination you have to get through with a couple of doors. You're going to choose the correct door, and you're going to go through into the next section. Once you drop down into the set of doors that you can drop down into, you don't want to go too much further, because there's going to be another chest available to you. And as you'll see here, I'm just getting ready to drop into those second set of doors here. Now once you land, you're going to turn around and look down. There's going to be a void rune. Once you shoot the void rune, an arc rune will spawn below it. When you shoot the arc rune, another set will spawn across the way. So you'll turn around, you'll jump across the way, and if you look up, there's going to be another arc rune, so it's going to be reversed. That'll spawn the void rune, and then the void rune will spawn the chest behind you where there's a little hive trap in front of it. Now, when you're done picking up the chest, there's going to be a portal across the way, and then you're going to take that portal to the top. Don't forget, though, once you get to the top of the portal, that there's an extra secret this week. So you're getting past the 2 death columns and getting underneath this swinging sensor with the spikes. When you hop across, there's going to be those 3 platforms. Before you go, take a left, turn to your left, should I say, and there's going to be a doorway that you'll see. And it looks like it's a little far away, but it does have a ledge that you can make. When you make the ledge and you go through that ledge, in the opening, you're going to see a floating card. It's going to be a non-typed card, so you don't have to worry about being tuned to it elementally. And then once you pick up that card, that's what's going to give you that additional minor card this week. So from there, you finish out the Savathun Spire, and that's that for this week's secrets. Now, once you're done with that, you're going to head back to the tower, and you're going to have a conversation with Amaru. Then you can actually run back to your ritual table, and you can pick up the new minor cards that you found through doing the Savathun Spire. I believe you're going to get the 3, and then if you do the other one on Legend, that'll give you the 4th. I'm not sure if the Legend one was available last week, since I wasn't able to get time to do Legend last week. So those are the 4 that I had this week. The one I got from Legend, and then the other ones that I got either finding the card and then just running through the story. And so just pick those up and move on to the next portion of the story, which is going to be a new story mission. In this new story mission, you'll actually be able to experience the 2 new Altar of Summons encounters, the Solar Hoarders, and a new Season of the Hunt themed encounter where you'll fight the 2 witches that can split off and just kind of follow them around doing damage from one to the other. And I don't kind of want to spoil everything, so I'm going to go ahead and play the full mission for you guys so you can take it in for yourself. And there's also a little bit of surprise after you get through those 2 new encounters, and I'll see you guys on the other side of the mission.
The boss was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but only amateurs rely on wishful thinking. Listen to this.
If Zevor-Rath learns what the Guardians are up to in my oubliette, she'll do what she always does. Attack. Lucky for us, her poor Wrathborn are so eager to die. They'll make lovely tithes, provided the Guardians survive long enough to collect them.
When I discovered the Spire, I saw heresy. A temple of the sky. I sought to destroy it. But now, I see truth. It is built on a foundation of death. A temple of the sword. Logic so pure, even the warriors of the sky honor it. Our rituals are discovered by the Eater of Weakness, the god of the rotting sea, Zevor-Rath. Show her that the logic of the sword is no longer the hive's alone to wield. Hive's eternal sword poised to strike down the world. Liar! Enemy! Worshipper! You would disavow me, even as you lay tribute at my feet. Turn your weapons against me, for I am the destruction you create! Zivu-Arath would lay claim to all conflict, but she is no longer the only Hive god of strife. Wrest these tributes from her grasp, for they are now mine. Exalt me with your violence, as you have always done! You are deserving of the greatest death I can bestow. The Leviathan readies itself in your honor.
Leviathan Eater was testing your capabilities. He'll be back with reinforcements once Zivu's brood is assembled.
Sometimes I think the boss believes in you more than her own brood. She left this for you.
If the Guardians survive my sister's assault, it'll be on account of their ferocity, not their clemency. Zivu-Arath will be thrilled. The Guardians will claim self-defense, of course, but that self-deception will only work for so long. Eventually, they'll have to admit they live by the sword as much as my sister does. It's so nice when the people we love all get along. Don't you think?
So yes, that was a nice, interesting reveal from the mission itself. Getting a chance to fight this very powerful knight called Leviathan Eater, Bane of the Ammonites. That kind of goes back to some of the lore from the Books of Sorrow that Oryx had kind of written slash taken from some of the Hive gods that gave him that information. This particular one refers to the original Leviathan. It's believed that Asa is not the same Leviathan as the Leviathan that the three sisters encountered, that there was a different Leviathan that died with the Ammonites, and that Asa is just a kind of a sister of that Leviathan, one that also turned away from the deal that turned them into the Hive worms, or the worm god, should I say. And this particular Leviathan Eater is something that kind of stands out because it talks of the fact that the Hive have actually encountered guardians before, but just not the guardians that they're used to, the guardians of Earth being human guardians. They were apparently Ammonite guardians, and they had light, and they also had really beat down the Hive at one point, but the Hive were able to turn around and win against them. The difference being the guardians, for whatever reason, had that additional paracausal power, and as the guardian, the quote-unquote guardian, were able to so far overcome those odds that the other races, like the Ammonites, for example, the prior light races, had not been able to do so before. So pretty cool lore. Let's move on to the next part. You're going to end up going back to the H.E.L.M, and you're going to have another conversation, this time with Ikora, which is going to be interesting. I'm going to include that in my lore video this week. I'm going to have weeks 2 and 3 lore together since it was kind of a short week last week. And this will be not too long of a video, and it'll kind of condense the lore, the lore beats that I have recorded myself into kind of like a little storybook for you guys for this week. When you're done with Ikora, you're just going to turn around and you're going to hear a radio conversation recording from Zivo Roth on behalf of Amaru, kind of talking about what we talked about with the Ammonites, with the Traveler and the Leviathan, and some of the things that that were experienced before, kind of trying to really bring into the scope of the power that the Hive were wielding before we started taking down their pillars of power, the three Hive gods. And so from here, if you haven't already, head back over to the ritual table and gather your rewards, go over to the lectern, pick up your Arcana that you haven't picked up yet, go out there and knock out your red borders, and pick up the bounties and knock out the bounties if you haven't done so. I'd recommend doing those in between what we're doing because a lot of the things that we're doing for this week are going to satisfy some of those bounties for the day. And that's pretty much it for this week. I'll see you guys in the lore video, and I'll see you guys in the Legend Savathun Spire video. See you then.